Hey guys, so I just got back from a dance class. It's Tuesday night as I'm filming this video, and I decided to just kind of take a little bit of a break. It has been a little bit of a busier week, and we're moving forward. So in order to kind of de-stress, I just decided to go take like a 1.5 hour dance class. It was pretty fun. Now, the reason why we're making this video is how to grow your accounting firm. Okay, we're going to talk about a principle called the 7-touch rule. Now, what that basically means, and before we even go any further, if you want some help growing your accounting firm or your bookkeeping practice, but you're tired of, trying to recreate the wheel by yourself, maybe you could go and reach your goal, but it'll just take, a number of years. If instead you want to cut the line, go and grow a lot faster, know exactly what the bigger firms do, and the firms are doing, 40,000 a month, $30,000 a month, $20,000 a month. And when I say like bigger firms, I mean like solo guys, like people who it's only one employee with a couple subcontractors. That's what we're really training my students to become. So we have a couple different programs for whichever level you're at, whether you're just getting started or if you're at like $15,000 to $20,000 a month, you're trying to go more like to 40 or 30,000 a month. If that's you, go ahead and click on the link inside the description below or inside the comment section to book a call with me. On the call, we're going to take a look at exactly where you are, where you want to go, and then what it looks like for you to go and get there together. That's you. I'll see you on the call. Back to the video. So 7-touch rule. So for most people, this is mostly, this is not all people, this is most people, they have a certain threshold of trust, and they have a really hard time kind of letting their guard down to other people, especially if they're like a bigger business owner. They're trained to say no to kind of spur of the moment decisions, because as you know, in like business, spur of the moment decisions can kind of be detrimental in some cases. Now, I'm not talking about making a fast decision. I'm talking about a spur of the moment decision, and you have no planning, no time. If it's one of those decisions where it's like, you're just scared, but it's the right decision, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about if like you're spending $1,000 a month or $1,000 a day on ad spend, right? And this other person says you should turn off your ads completely and like do this just because of so and so said this. That's a spur of the moment decision versus a fast decision is like you get on a call with someone, they say the price is X amount of dollars, you freak out because you've never spent that much money. That's not a fast decision, especially if you've been like watching videos, you've seen the testimonials, XYZ, thing like that. But for the people we're talking about, it's more of like trust to even get on the phone with you. It takes about 7 touches on average. Now, a touch does not necessarily mean you have to like send a message 7 days in a row. It can be one, you post a piece of content, they see that, that's one. One, you can go, or two, you can go onto their profile and like one of their posts. They see your notification. That's second touch. 3, you could leave a comment on one of their posts. 4, they could leave a comment on one of your posts. 5, you could do a cold call. 6, you could send them a text message. 7, you could send them an email. 8, you could send them another LinkedIn message. Okay, we're just kind of varying the ways that we're touching them in order for them to kind of respond to us, see that we're here for the long run, see that we're actually dedicated to talking to them, see that we're, really trying to help. Because the big fear that a lot of people have is that you're like a fly-by-night kind of operation. And all that means is that, you're not really committed to it, right? I talk to a lot of accountants, a lot of bookkeepers. And sometimes, like, you can tell when they're generally not going to really make a lot of money based on how they treat the business. If it's like, it's kind of like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, that doesn't work. You got to be committed. You don't have to do it full time, but you have to be committed to making it work. If you're not, other business owners can sense that. Okay, like it's interesting, right? Because like sometimes people come to me and they'll be like, Bryce, I've been trying for so long, but my accounting firm, my bookkeeping firm just is not growing. I'm like, okay, well, how often do you think about growing your accounting, your bookkeeping business? They're like, oh, and they don't even think about it. Like, that's different. Like, it's one thing if you don't do a lot of work on it because your schedule's busy for work. But if you don't even think about your business, it's like there's no way it's gonna grow. You gotta at least be thinking about it once a day at least. Like, come on, you gotta be thinking about it. Like, especially like sometimes I'll hear people and they'll be talking about they want to make like 100,000 or two. Like, so this one person got on the phone yesterday for a consultation, and she said, I want to make $250,000 in my first year in business. And then she goes, "Is that reasonable?" And I was like, it depends, but based on the way that she asked the question, like it's not going to be realistic for you at this time, because I asked her like, okay, well, how many potential clients have you spoken to? She said one, and I'm like, okay, So in the next 12 months, you're going to go and try and get take one opportunity. You're going to do that basically every single month. Like that, it's not the right mentality. If instead you had been trying, or you had been going and like failing, like you had gone talk to people, they said no, and you're in motion, yes, you can go and do about 250. Again, that's going to be a stretch. I'm not saying everyone can do that. If you have the wrong, excuse me, the wrong information, or if you don't have a good strategy, it's going to be very, very hard for you to do that. And also, if you don't have like the manpower or the skill set of subcontracting out work and outsourcing work. Okay, now for the average person, like the average person is going to be able to take on about twelve to about $15,000 per month if they're doing straight bookkeeping. Okay, and that's a monthly recurring revenue. That's not counting if you get like a cleanup, because sometimes you might get a huge cleanup for like 20,000, and if you're already making 10,000 a month, and you sell a $20,000 cleanup, that's a $30,000 month, but that's not gonna be like 320,000 a year. You see the kind of that difference. Now, once you learn how to start subcontracting and outsourcing work to someone who's in the local area who's a little bit underpriced, then you can go and expand that capacity and be able to really take on that 250, 300,000, even 400,000 per year if you so choose to, and if that's in the cards. Another way that you could actually grow a little bit further would be to offer a different kind of service package. So maybe doing like some tax planning, and less kind of transactional stuff, right? Because when you want to try and start growing a little bit faster, it can be easier if you're doing less transactional stuff, because the transactional stuff, even though it is simple, in a lot of cases it can kind of drain your energy over time. So if you get really good at selling the transactional stuff and you're filling up your subcontractor schedule, and then you start switching over to more of like these more scalable, higher valued services like CFO or tax planning, then it can get a little bit easier for you to go and hit that really big mark. That's one thing I'm going to be like just kind of teaching people in the near future, is how to do more of like tax planning or more of like consulting type of offers, because then it's more of like it's more of a flat rate. You know exactly how much you're going to be making. You can start building an audience, and you can just start pushing and going a little bit more powerfully through that zone. But it does start with that 7-touch rule, going back to what we're talking about. For example, one of my students was a good example of this. A good example would be like JT. Like that man, like when we first got started, I told him, go on LinkedIn and just start talking to business owners, right? And when we finally started talking again, like it was like 2 weeks later, I looked at his LinkedIn account, and like he was hitting people up every other week, like, hey, what's up? Hey, did you see this new article I made? Hey, did you see this thing that happened in the news? Hey, did you see this? Like, hey, why are you ignoring me? Hey, do you have someone? It was like he was just blasting people, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So much volume, but it worked. It worked. And then people would come on the phone saying like, I appreciate you like staying with me. I appreciate you like following up with me. I appreciate you like caring, because he was basically, it wasn't that he was like being obnoxious. It was he was showing that he cared, and that was the kind of person they would be when they would be working together. So now they trusted him, because if you can handle like following up with someone when they don't give you any money, imagine how much more you're going to be following up and like being on the ball and being detail oriented and really sticking with that person and building that relationship once they are paying you. And that's almost the kind of feeling that you get when you do the 7-touch rule, is that you're offering value by being there and being an advisor. Okay, an advisor is not necessarily someone that just gives advice. An advisor is someone that can also give comfort, that they are there to provide their experience when the advisee or the business owner needs it. Okay, for example, like for me, I have a accountability personal trainer coach. And what that basically means is I don't even have to talk. I talk to him like once a week, right? And every single day I kind of get a message from him saying, "Hey, did you do well in your meal plan today? Hey, did you eat the proper amount of foods?" And even when he's not there, I still have this feeling that he is there with me, watching over the stuff that I'm doing. And if I ever needed, like, and I had a question or something, I could come to him and be able to ask that. It's the same thing with business owners and when you're trying to sell accounting and bookkeeping services. If they feel like you are there, you're already a part of their business and a part of their life and a part of their subconscious process before they start paying you money. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to be there. You don't have to like be in such a rush, because what tends to happen is as you start going and like growing your audience, if you can keep up that same frequency of 7 touches, when you are ready to open up more slots for your service, when you have more room, when you hire a subcontractor, you're able to just make simple call to actions in order to make more money. A good example of this would be Audrey. So Audrey, she was at capacity for a while. Like she only wanted to work 15 days out of the week. She didn't want to do any more work outside of that because she had been used to working in corporate America for a number of years. So her thing was, I want to be full on the days that I'm working, and I want to be empty on the days when I'm not. And the one thing I told her was, okay, cool. So what we're gonna do for now is, even though you're not taking on new people, let's still keep growing your audience. Let's still keep having everything the same. So you're gonna be like having your robot go and like their post, having your robot send the message, having your robot. When I say robot, like we have this automated tool that I give to most of my students who are a little bit more like advanced and they have like a good flow and a good rhythm. Because then they don't have to spend as much time doing like marketing, but they're still getting their name out there. So the robot was moving, it was growing her audience. It got an extra like it was between like 400 to 1,000 new LinkedIn connections in the span of like 2 months, right? And then basically what happened was I said, hey, you could grow even further without adding more time to your life and your schedule. She's like, what? I said, yeah, let's just get a subcontractor. And then she was like, "Oh!" It just kind of like it blew her mind, right? And the reason why she did this because like she moved up into the mastermind program, which is the back end. So like generally, what happens is when you first get started, you join like the 6 figure firms mentorship program. It's designed to give you momentum. So if you're like at zero, or maybe you're like three grand a month, 5 grand a month, kind of in that zone, and you're trying to get more to like 10, 12, 15. That's where 6FF takes place because it's just really, really technical information to help you gain momentum and know exactly what you need to do to grow the audience. Once you're more at that, 11, 12, 15, you're trying to go more to like, 30 or 40,000 a month. That's where the back end mastermind program just is way better for you. And that's why she was able to make that switch, because that's where we start talking about how to build a real business, not just be, a highly paid accountant or bookkeeper. And you can start scaling just tremendously fast with that. Now, the reason why it was so important for her is because she was keeping those touches going. So when she felt like it was time for her to take on more clients without adding more time onto her schedule, all she did was just make call to actions from all the people she'd already been talking to. And since they really liked her, and since they'd already been talking, since they trusted her, because her robot was going out there and actually doing that 7-touch rule, all she had to say was, hey, do you want to see if I can help you? And she did that to probably about 20 people. No, she didn't even do it to 20 people. She did that probably, I think she might have invited like 20 people. 7 people said they wanted to hop on a call. She closed 5 out of 7. Only took about a week. And she closed 4 out of 7 immediately, and then one of them actually like came back like a month later and paid her whatever the price was. So it's just kind of cool to see that happening. And just every single time she fills up, I just tell the students like, hey, don't stop the marketing. Do not stop the lead gen. Keep the leads flowing in so that when you're ready to go and expand, you can just do so very easily. You never know what you're going to need in the future, so always prepare for tomorrow. Okay? A lot of people when they're starting, like, they struggle because they're only looking at today. And when you only look at today, you might make some money in the short term, but we got to make sure that not only are you making money in the short term, but I want to make sure that a year from now, 2 years from now, it's easier for you to build your business. So if you so choose to go get to more like 20, 30, 50,000 a month, you have that ability to do so. But if we just focus on the short term, we're not doing these things to build your audience. We're not doing this thing to get your leads. We're not building your authority. It's very hard for you to go like 2 years from now and build your business. So always keep that in mind whenever I'm like doing these videos. We're always trying to help you go and grow for that long term, because I don't want you to just have like a good business for like 1 year. I want to make sure it can support your family for the next 10, 15, 20 years, depending on how old you are. If you're closer to retirement age, like you don't need to be for 20 years. But if you're more on the younger side, we want to make sure this thing can last. We want it to be able to be built to last. Now, if you want some help going and growing your accounting, your bookkeeping business, and maybe you've been trying this thing on your own and you're just tired of like the trial and error. You know that you could be moving forward faster if you had the right strategy, the right plan, and the right person to help you out. Go ahead and click on the link either above or below the video to book a call with me. And on that call, what we're gonna do is like we're gonna just look at exactly where you are right now. I gotta see exactly like what's really been holding you back in order for me to give you like any kind of guidance or anything, or even to know if I can help you out. Then what you're gonna do is just kind of describe what does that situation look like when you've actually reached your goal. Like How many kids do you want to have 10 years from now? Like, where do you want to be living? What does your house look like? How much money do you want to be making? How much money do you want to be saving in the bank? How much do you want to be putting in your investment firm? How much do you want to be putting into an insurance policy? Like, what does that look like? Once we have those things, like where you are and where you want to go, now I can just describe the process of what it would look like for myself and you to move forward and grow and get there. And if it makes sense, we can talk pricing, we can onboard you, and then we can move forward towards your dreams together. If that's you, I will see you on the call. If it's not you, you're not quite ready for that, no harm, no foul. I'll see you inside of the next video. Talk to you soon. Have a good one.